all, this is Tanu Gupta from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College from IT department. Today I am going to discuss a very important topic in machine learning, or just an introduction to machine learning. First of all, we understand what is machine learning, then we are going towards the types of machine learning technique. So yes, what is learning? Learning is a process by which a system improves its performance from experiences. We, as a human, learn from its own commencing a mistake and learn from our mistake. Like, learning is a process by which a system improves its performance from their experience. So, machine learning is defined as a discipline of artificial intelligence that provide the machine to ability to automatically learn from the past, or we can say a historic data, to identify patterns and make prediction with minimum human intervention. So what I'm trying to say that machine learning provide the ability to machine that automatically learn from the historic data that are going to use to predict or identify the patterns and trend for making the prediction that is used for the better decision making with minimum human intervention. Machine learning enables a machine to automatically learn from the data and improves its performance from experiences and predict things without being explicitly programmed. So this is a concept of machine learning, that machine learn from the past data to identify the patterns and making prediction for the better decision making with minimum human intervention. So this is a diagram that clearly show that a human interacting with an robot or a machine. I can learn everything from experiences. Can you learn? Machine, or we can say a robot, answered yes. I can also learn from the past data with the help of various machine learning algorithms. Now, this is our overall concept of machine learning for building a mathematical model and making prediction based on the historic data or information. Machine learning employs a variety of algorithms. How the process is going on in the machine learning process? Input past data or a historic data set. Now we train our data set through the machine learning algorithm. Learn from the data, then building logical model according to that algorithm. Then we get the new data as the output. So this is a process of machine learning process. So what are the key features of machine learning algorithm? As we sum up, it can learn from the past data and improve automatically from the past experiences or the experiences. It is a data driven technology because it is totally based on the past data or historic data. So it is a data driven technology. Without any previous data, we can't do any machine learning technique. Machine learning uses data to detect various patterns in a given data set. Machine learning uses various patterns, or we can say data, to detect the various patterns that are inbuilt in the data set. Machine learning is very much similar to the data mining process, as the data mining is used to extract the information from the raw data. So yes, the data mining term and the machine learning term can be used as interchangeably together. Okay, so the concept arises, what is the difference between the machine learning, deep learning and artificial intelligence? So deep learning is a subset of machine learning in which multi-layer neural network learn from the vast amount of data. So what is deep learning? Deep learning actually is based on the artificial neural network, or based on the multi-layer neural network in which there are many layers: input layer, one of one or more hidden layers and a output layer. So using the concept of multi-layer neural network or neurons, from the vast amount of data, the approach of deep learning is used. And in the machine learning, we use the past data, or we can say historical data, to identify the patterns, or for the that is used for the better decision making. And then what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is a set of technology that enables a advanced function, including then AI is ability to see, understand, translate spoken words, written language, analyze the data, making recommendation, and many more. So artificial, we can say a machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and deep learning is a subset of machine learning. And overall, artificial intelligence, yes, provide the ability to the machine to see, understand, and translate and communicate, or we can say translate the spoken or written language. So AI is a broad concept of all, gives a machine to ability to intimate human behavior. So yes, AI provide the ability that a machine, or we can say a robot, that ability to imitate as a human behavior. As we human behave, we see, we understand, we translate. Like AI is a broad concept that provide the ability to the machine that imitate the human behavior as the human does. So through the diagram, we can say, yes, machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So yes, example of artificial intelligence like self-driving car. This is one of the example of example, or we can say the application of AI self-driving car, that is Tesla. This is it's a GPS based, sensor based self-driving car in which there is no driver. It is broadly or basically based on the artificial intelligence concept. Virtual assistant like we are using Alexa and Siri are the virtual assistant that is based on the artificial intelligence concept. Chess playing like IBM Deep Blue. Machine learning examples, email spam filter. When we have got the various types of email, then machine learning concept automatically filters our email that this is important email, this is a spam, archive, and so on. Recommendation system like Netflix recommendation. Netflix, Uber, Google are also using the concept of ML, deep learning, and artificial intelligence. For example, recommender system, like if you are going to search a comedy film in the Netflix or a series, so when you are search one of these type of movies, then you see in the recommendation box similar types of movies are going to recommend it for you. So because they analyze the customer behavior, they analyze the customer input. So for using this information, the various apps, or we can say like Netflix recommendation and Facebook, Amazon, Flipkart, they also provide a recommended product or um, like something as like you. Okay, now predictive maintenance in manufacturing. Yes, this is also application of machine learning. Now the deep learning, image recognition, speech recognition, and NLP, detecting the objects and images. If we have to detect the objects and images, or we can say in the image recognition concept, we use the we use the applications of deep learning, or we use the concept of deep learning, that is an artificial neural network. So these are the key features and some of the application of artificial intelligence, deep learning, and machine learning. And then what is data science? Data science comprises all the applications and tools of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. So data science is a broad concept that has a advanced capability to analyze, see, and do all the complex tasks and various advanced algorithms, and uses all the tools that are combined of machine learning, artificial intelligence, and the deep learning. Now, the types of machine learning technique. There are three types of machine learning technique. First one is supervised, second one is unsupervised, and third one is a reinforced machine learning technique. First of all, we discuss a supervised learning technique. Supervised learning is a type of machine learning in which machine are trained using well-labeled data, well-labeled training data, and on the basis of that data, machine are predict the output. The labeled data means the input data already tagged with the correct output. For example, we have a raw data in which we have a data set in which we have a different types of shapes: triangle, square, hexagon, pentagon, circle, and so on. We already labeled this shape on the input data, like this shape is a square, this shape is triangle, and this one shape is hexagon, and so on. Now, we trained our model according to that data. Okay. Now, we have to train our model because supervised algorithm is based on the labeled data in which the input are already mapped with the correct output, in which these shape are already labeled with their name. Then how we can train our model? If the image is recognized as 4 sides and all the 4 sides are equal, then it will be as a square. If the image has 3 sides, then it will be a triangle. Then the image has a 6 sides, then it will be a hexagon. 5 side, then it will be a pentagon. 8 side, it will be a octagon, and so on. So that is a procedure how to train our model. Now, prediction. This is our training data set and this is a test data set. Now we analyze our model on the test data. How our model gave a correct result or accurate result or not. So prediction, and yes, this shape is a square and this shape is triangle. So in the supervised learning machine learning technique, in which the machines are trained using a well-labeled data. Well-labeled data means shape is already named as a label, and on the basis of that data, machine produce the correct output. And because of some logics, we are trained our model to test whether our data is predicting a correct output or not. As we discussed, we have a data set of different types of shapes, which include square, triangle, rectangle. Now, first step, we need to train our model for each shape. We have to train our model for each shape. If the given shape has 4 sides, square, 3, triangle, and so on. The machine is already trained on all types of shape. When it finds a new shape, is classified the shape on the basis of the sides and predict the output, because we already named or labeled that shape with the correct output. So yes, according to our training model or the test of the images, the algorithms, or we can say a model, predict the correct output. Now, the types of supervised learning. There are two types of supervised machine learning algorithm. First one is a regression and second one is a classification. So what is regression? A regression is used for the prediction of continuous variable. And the regression is a supervised machine learning technique. And when the regression is used, when the output variable is continuous. For example, market trends, or we can say a product of sale. The product of sale may be increase, decrease, or constant. There is no fixed value, or this is not lie between the two values. The value, the output variable should be a continuous value or a real value. So the regression is used for the prediction of continuous variables such as weather forecasting, market trend, and so on. These are the regression algorithm which we are discussing after this. Okay, now classification. Classification problem is when the output variable is categorical. When the output variable is categorical, which means there are two classes, that is yes or no, male and female, true, false, red, blue, disease or not. If we have to analyze our data set with two results, we use the classifications algorithms. Okay, when we are lie between the output variable that result in a two values, either 0 and 1, either male and female, either yes and no, true and false, disease or not. So these are the classification algorithms. These are some of the classification algorithm which we use to classify our data set between the two values. Now, unsupervised machine learning technique. Unsupervised learning technique, as a name suggests, there is no supervision, there is no level data. The machine are only trained by the hidden to identify the hidden patterns and trend of the data. So, as a name suggests, unsupervised learning is a machine learning technique in which model are not supervised using training data set. In which model are not supervised. In the supervised machine learning, as we can say, a teacher is present to supervise the student, but in the unsupervised machine learning algorithm, the teacher is not present, the supervision is not present. Only the student have the data and they have to understand the data, identify the patterns and then train our model to predict the correct output. Okay, so yes, unsupervised learning is a type of machine learning in which model are trained using unlabeled data set. In supervised, there is a labeled data set in which the input are mapped with the correct output and are allowed to act on the data set without any supervision. So this is a unsupervised machine learning technique. We can understand the concept of unsupervised learning according to this image. Suppose we have a input data, input raw data, in which there are images of some animal and they are unlabeled data. We are not going to label that data unlike the supervised learning algorithm. Now interpretation, now applying the algorithm and then process. In the interpretation, we have to find out the hidden patterns, or we can say a similar features in that images. Similar features images are clusters in one and dissimilar features are collected in another. So we train our model according to this and predict the output. So dog has a similar features and cats has a similar features. So according to that, according to the similarities and their dissimilarities, these are under the algorithm process and the interpretation process. We, in the unsupervised machine learning technique, we have to identify the patterns and trends in the raw data, and according to that we predict the output because the data are not input data are not labeled with the correct output. And yes, types of supervised learning algorithm, there are two types of unsupervised learning technique. First one is clustering and second one is association. So clustering is a method of grouping the object into clusters such that the object have the most similarities remain into a group and has less or no similarities with the object are in the another group. Association, an association rule is an unsupervised learning method which is used for finding the relationship between the variables in the large data set in determining the set of items that frequently occur in the data set. So association rule make marketing strategy more effective, such as people who buy X item are also tend to purchase item Y. For example, if a customer purchase bread, they can also chances they will purchase butter and jam. Okay, so yes, association rule is a market basket analysis. These are some clustering algorithm: K-means clustering, hierarchical clustering, and B-scan. And a priori algorithm and FP growth algorithm are the association rule learning algorithm which comes under the unsupervised learning technique that is used to find out the relationship between the variable. Now come to the third machine learning technique, that is our reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is a feedback based machine learning technique in which an agent can be any, a computer system, or we can say a robot, learn to behave in an environment. Environment can be any, a maze environment, a fixed environment, a football ground, or can be a room, by performing the action and seeing the result of action. So reinforcement learning is basically based on the feedback based machine learning technique in which an agent learn to behave in an environment and by performing the action and get the result in with the feedbacks and improves its performance. For each good action, agent get positive feedback, and for each bad action, the agent get a negative feedback, or we can say a penalty. So reinforcement learning, the agent learn automatically using this feedback, which can be either positive or negative, without any labeled data, unlike the supervised learning. In the reinforcement learning, data is also not labeled. The agent learn with the feedback, or agent learn to behave in environment by performing an action and seeing the result of action, which can be a positive, which can be a negative. So yes, RL is a technique that enable an agent to learn in an interactive environment by hit and trial, or we can say a trial and error feedback basis from its own actions and experiences. For example, how a robotic dog learn in the movement of his arm is an example of reinforcement learning. Application of reinforcement learning is a robotic dog. Have you seen a robotic dog? Yes. What are the uses of robotic dog? They are robotic dog are used for performing a guardship. It is used for searching something which is lost, or which is important. Robotic dog is used for used in logistic to transfer our goods from one place to another, not in a high place, but yes, in a room, or we can say in a campus, to move one place to another. So yes, this is an application of reinforcement learning. And another example is robotic mop, which we all, or which are going to use in our house. Robotic mop, which automatically learn from the feedbacks of what they are doing in the house. Okay. Now suppose there is an agent present with a maze environment, which can be a small unit, or his goal is to find out the diamond. Like okay, now the agent interact with the environment by performing some action. Based on those action, they will get state change and also receives reward as a penalty, or we can say as a feedback. Okay, so in this, the agent continue doing three things. What is? Take action, change state, or remain in the same state, and get the feedback. So from this diagram, we can elaborate the reinforcement learning. There can be an agent, it can be environment. An agent interact with the environment by changing their states and get a positive and feedback rewards. Now in this diagram, yes, an agent, the environment, state, ST, first one agent in this state, then ST1, then performing some action and get an reward, which can be a positive and which can be a negative. So these are just diagram to explain the reinforcement learning concept. So these are the simple terms that we are using in the reinforcement learning. First one is an agent. What is agent? An agent or is an entity that explores the environment and act upon it. Environment, a situation in which the agent is present. What is environment? A situation in which our agent is present. Okay, and action are the move taken by an agent to change our state. State is a situation returned by the environment after each action taken by the agent. Reward, a feedback returned to the agent from the environment. Policy is a strategy applied by the agent for the next action. Policy is a strategy that is applied by the agent for the next action. Okay. Now value is an expected long-term return with the discount factor and opposite to the short-term result. Q value, you can say a quality value. It is more similar to the value, but it take one additional parameters, like as a current action when we are learning toward the Q learning reinforcement learning technique. Then the Q value, the content or key terms, it's elaborated to you, and that's then. For the sum up of reinforcement learning, in RL, the agent is not instructed about the environment, what action to be needed. It is based on totally hit and trial process. The agent take the next action and changes its state according to the feedback and previous action. Yes, the environment is stochastic, means unpredictable, partially observable and randomness, and the agent need to be explored it to get the maximum positive reward. So yes, this is our overall the types of machine learning technique, in which we have understood the three types of machine learning technique: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforced. As a sum up, supervised learning technique, in which the machine are trained using a well-labeled data. In unsupervised learning technique, unlike the supervised learning technique, there is no labeled data. The model will have to identify the patterns from the unlabeled data. And in the reinforcement learning technique is a feedback based machine learning technique in which an agent learn to behave in an environment by changing its state and improves its performance by their experiences, from which it gets a reward which can be a positive and negative. So thank you so much for this. For now, let's meet when toward the next topic of machine learning technique.